Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Am I wrong for not allowing my sisters to come spend Christmas with me and my family? I 29 male and my parents' only child together. My dad 55 male had an affair, which resulted in a pregnancy, and my mom left him over it. The woman had twin girls Bella and Amy, both 19, and I deeply resented all three of them for many years. With time and therapy, I was able to let go of most of my anger, but I will never be close to Bella and Amy and just opted to be polite whenever I saw them or their mom. In a tragic twist of almost laughable karma, it was revealed that the woman my dad left my mom for wasn't as true to him as she led him to believe, and that Bella and Amy weren't his. It got nasty, and they divorced when Bella and Amy were 16. My dad agreed to still be a part of Bella and Amy's lives at the time and so opted for 50-50 custody. However, after a health scare, Bella decided she wanted to find and reach out to her bio dad, and while my dad wasn't happy about it, Bella soothed his worries when she stated that it would only be for medical purposes, as she had no desire to have him in her life. My dad helped Bella find him and they had a meeting and never said anything about it again. Unfortunately, it was revealed that Bella lied and was still seeing her dad in secret, and Amy eventually joined her. My dad wasn't happy about it and there was an argument, but when Amy brought up how it was their right to see their dad, something in my dad snapped. He got quiet and told the girls that they were right, and when Amy and Bella left to spend the summer with their dad and his family, my dad put the house up for sale, moved all of Amy and Bella's things to a storage unit, deleted his social media, and changed his number. My dad then sent a letter to Bella and Amy to their mom's place, explaining what he had done, and that they had 30 days before he cut off all financial support, like college funds, phones, etc., saying that since their bio dad is so important, that he can be their father fully. My dad hasn't spoken to the girls since, and his side of the family is on his side thinking that Bella and Amy are ungrateful and just as disrespectful as their mom. Bella and Amy have reached out to me to help them see and talk to my dad again, but I don't want to get involved. I don't even know where to find him, we just call, text, or FaceTime each other. My father finally reached out asking if he could come spend Christmas with me, my wife, our daughter, and my wife's parents, and I agreed. I'm not sure how, but Bella and Amy found out and told me that they were going to over too. Not ask, but told. I said no. I know that eventually my dad is going to have a talk with Bella and Amy, but I don't want that drama at my house during my daughter's first Christmas. I told my dad about Bella and Amy, and he said that he said everything he needed to in his letter and has no desire to talk to them. I told Bella and Amy that they are not welcomed, and now they, along with their family and friends, are calling me the bad guy. Am I wrong? Now for the top comments. Not wrong. This is not your circus, these are not your monkeys. You have no biological or familial relationship with Amy or Bella, and you're not obligated to provide the forum for them to have whatever conversation they believe they need to have with your father, especially at Christmas around his family. Not wrong. But let me tell you something. I have a feeling they're going to show up anyway. Is there any way you can change the venue? Not related to judgment, but I just had to laugh at your dad's karmic justice. But I also will say he's being a jerk to them about it. I get that he's hurt, but they have a right to find their bio dad, and they shouldn't be punished for it. What he did was stone cold. I agree. I laughed to find out the cheater got cheated on, but felt bad for the girls who are caught by their parents' bad choices, and in the case of OP's dad, immature behavior, moving all their stuff into storage and sending a letter. That's cold. Cold maybe, but I am betting that the money and college funds are the twins' primary reasons for wanting to talk. Well, then they're definitely wasting their time, because dad spent it. Next story. Am I wrong for trying to get my daughter to come back? Me 40 female and my ex 42 male split up a few years ago. When my ex moved back to Europe, my daughter 19 female was heartbroken. I've looked after her all on my own for years ever since he up and left. My daughter was always focused on her grades in school, so never paid attention to my relationship since the breakup. My daughter always helped me with my son 9 male since he was born. He is my current boyfriend's child. My daughter has never got along with my boyfriend. They constantly fight with each other. I just put it down to her being a teenager. I know she still talked with her father, but I never intervened on their conversations. However, once she turned 18, I had a huge birthday surprise planned for her with my boyfriend's help. I went to wake her up that morning as she was never a morning person, but she wasn't there. I started to freak out and began calling her nonstop. She never answered. I noticed her documents were missing from the family safe and started freaking out. I contacted my ex, and all he said was that my daughter was on her way over to him. I did get angry at him, asking him what he told my daughter in order for her to leave without notice. He just told me that he told her the truth. I kept questioning him, but he never answered after that. My daughter did text me after she landed, telling me to never speak to her again. I asked her what she was talking about. She told me that I already knew the reason why. I kept begging her to come back and that she made a mistake, that her father was lying to her, and the fact I raised her on my own for years without his help. She never responded to my texts. I follow her on social media and have seen her new posts with her father. They all include some petty caption of how he's been the only one there for her through thick and thin. She still won't speak to me and I just want her back. You're the idiot. Sounds like you parentified your daughter and got what was coming to you. Now that she's an adult, she can make her own choices. Unless you can provide more info to refute this. My daughter always helped me with my son 9 male since he was born. And she hated mom's boyfriend. My daughter has never got along with my boyfriend. They constantly fight with each other. I just put it down to her being a teenager. So it sounds like she let her boyfriend terrorize her daughter, didn't defend her daughter, and was more interested in using her daughter's service to care for her new child rather than parenting her. I'm not clear on this. My daughter was always focused on her grades in school, so never paid attention to my relationship since the breakup. But that sentence makes it sound like OP ignored her daughter too. OP, you have your answer. You ignored your daughter, focused on your new boyfriend and your son. Insisted that your daughter care for your son. You let your boyfriend terrorize your daughter, and you wonder why she's gone no contact. You reap what you sow. You're the idiot. So your daughter got the hell away from you the instant she legally could, and you have no idea why. I suspect we are not getting the whole story here. Definitely not getting the whole story. OP knows something, and doesn't want to make herself look worse than she already does. There is a lot of missing information here, and I suspect you've left a lot out on purpose. A child doesn't go no contact with their parent for no reason. You said your daughter and boyfriend fight a lot, but chalk it off to her being a teen, which sounds to me like you take his side over hers. You've had her help with your son always, which she no doubt resented the whole time. I doubt she never paid attention to your relationships, plural it sounds like. How many men were in and out of her life during her childhood after being devastated when her father left the country? So far by cobbling this together, I'm going with you're the idiot. There were not many men. After I left my ex, I tried to get back into the dating scene. My daughter never cared or asked about who I was with. Until I met my now boyfriend, and she starts fighting with him. What did he do to her? What does she say he did to her? He manipulated her to believe I was unfaithful to him. I never cheated on my ex but believed every word he said. No, they were asking what your current boyfriend did to your daughter, not what you believe your ex did. The problem is coming from inside your house. Next story. Am I wrong for letting my sister's kids live with me? I 50s female, have a sister in her 40s, who sees herself as my family lives in a camper van Instagram influencer. In 2020, she, her husband, and their 4 kids moved into a camper. They homeschool the kids, travel all over the US, etc. They come to visit for holidays, but we don't see them besides that. My husband and I are the opposite. We have 4 kids and live in a big, beautiful house in Colorado. So the issue, my sister and her family came over for Thanksgiving and spent the night. My sister's oldest female 13 and male 13 twins slept in my daughter's and son's rooms with them. In the morning, my niece and my sister got into a big argument, with my niece being incredibly angry at her mother for making her live in a camper when she could have so much more space, not have to share so much with her brothers as they all sleep in the same area, and be able to have more clothes, friends, or extracurricular activities. I asked what was going on, and according to my sister, this has been an argument for a while. Money is not an issue, as they had a house before and sold it for a huge amount of money. My sister has a trust fund and a job, but she just likes living in a camper. After a brief conversation with my husband and my children, we offered in private to my sister to take my eldest niece in. We have extra guest rooms and could make one a bedroom for her. There are great schools in our area. We'd pay for everything for her, etc. She instantly said no, that she knew what was best for her daughter, that she would miss her siblings. We didn't mention it again. Well, my youngest female 13 told her cousin about the offer. She was very happy, but angry that her mother hadn't brought it up to her. She told my sister that if she made her come live in the camper again, she'd never do anything her mother wanted, because it was unfair that her mother wasn't letting her have a true childhood. While I don't condone tantrums like that, I understood where she was coming from and helped convince my sister. When her twin brother found out, he wanted to stay too. My sister asked him what she was supposed to do without them. How was she going to care for the younger siblings without them? Talking about missing out on family trips, etc. But nephew didn't change his mind. We agreed to a trial period of 3 weeks, which ended 3 days ago. My sister came back, fully expecting her kids to want to come back with her, but they flat out refused to even get in the camper. My sister got very angry. She said that I was supposed to make them want to live with her, and that I'm a horrible sister for treating her like this. She said I should kick them out. But I said no, and she said that I'm a massive jerk, and told her kids to not expect her to come back for them when they got tired of maximalism. Now her kids are sad, but they still don't want to leave, and I'm worried I've ruined my relationship with my sister. Am I wrong here? Edit. I have been told that the technical name of the vehicle I'm referencing is a motorhome. It's one of those large house on wheels thing. I thought they were called campers since that's what my sister always calls it. Someone in the comments mentioned I should add this here that we have temporary guardianship signed by my sister. Her husband came over after they left, and we filled out the power of attorney forms, got the things we need to put them in school, etc., and he took them back and had her sign them, so we should be all clear. My brother is an attorney, and he helped us with the forms as well. I can see why your sister may not like it, but I don't think the campervan life is suited to all. The idea of it would be horrifying to me, both as an adult and a teenager. And I suspect a lot of 13-year-olds want to have friends and hobbies that aren't just online. You brought up the idea in private, which is a good way to approach it. It's a shame your daughter wasn't able to keep it private, but truthfully I think she did the correct thing. My sister asked him what she was supposed to do without them. How was she going to care for the younger siblings without them? Talking about missing out on family trips, etc. This sounds like parentification, which is not a good thing for the twins. They should be living the life of a teenager, only helping to look after younger sibs or kids if they are paid babysitters, and only for a few hours a week if they want the extra money. You are not wrong. I thought that after the first paragraph, and the rest just confirmed it for me. All of my other kids are all 15, 17, and 18, so I think she got overexcited about having another girl in the house. Lol. My sister did try to have them do activities and things like that. It was just hard since they were always moving around somewhere. You're right that it could have been parentification, but in truth, I also had my oldest watch his siblings once a month when they were younger, so that didn't occur to me. I think it will be beneficial for the nephew to have some brothers as well, as they may be able to introduce him to other activities. But in truth, I also had my oldest watch his siblings once a month when they were younger, so that didn't occur to me. I think once a month would not be considered parenting, more like babysitting, and I suspect you paid him, maybe not in money but at least in kind. She said care for the younger kids, which to me says it's more than a once-a-month favor. It may not be parentification, but it reads like it's on the path towards it to me. Last story. Am I wrong for telling my aunt that I'll put her in a nice nursing home? I 17 female, aunt 49 female, is pregnant with her second child. Yes, I typed that right, she is 49, and she did IVF. Yes, this is another story about her. I'm going through all of the college application stuff right now, and over a weekly Zoom call, my aunt started asking me and my mom some questions about all the paperwork and stuff we've had to do for me. My mom answered some of her questions, but realizing how confusing all of these are, my aunt laughed and said that it didn't matter because all of this will probably be different in 16 years when she has to do it for her kids. She then continued and went, OP will be in her 30s by the time my kid goes to college. It's good, she'll be all set up, so they don't have to worry about us. I have to admit I could have let that slide, but in my pure confusion, I asked her what she meant, and God, I wish I didn't. She explained that because she doesn't want her kids to worry about them. Because instead of college, it's good that I'll be a full adult with a career by then, so I can take that role. Now, this woman has been a witch to me in the very recent past, and I know that at this point I need to be the bigger person, so here's where I'm probably the bad person. Going against my mom's pleading face, I scoffed, raised my eyebrows, and went, yeah, I'll make sure to put you in one of the good nursing homes. I was very quickly ushered out of the room, and I could hear the ensuing fight from downstairs. My aunt and her husband are angry with me and claim that I don't care about my cousins at all, that I don't care about my family, and that I could have just shut my mouth. To be honest, I can see the latter part of their point. She's pregnant, she's raising a small child, and maybe I should have just shut my mouth. So guys, am I wrong? So wait, is she saying that you, her niece, are her retirement policy? No, you have to shut that down. Seriously, not in the wrong here. Tell them early, often, and with witnesses that you are not responsible for supporting the decisions that two grown adults made when you were still a child. As the niece they are closest to, I am the designated care organizer for my child-free aunt and uncle. But they have the funds, all I'll have to do is coordinate, organize, and make decisions. Still hard, but no financial backing. So yeah, it happens more than people think, but normally just decisions, not funding. This I handled my mother's care, medical people, treatment, paperwork, house maintenance, nursing home adjustment from 4 hours away. And it was exhausting, but at least she had the funds and I had family. I called it steward of the empire. It was only 10 months, but it was consuming. Not wrong, OP. She can't sign you up for her and her kids. Man, I'm child-free, but I have 3 nibblings, and I hope so much that they'll still be in my life when I'm old and alone. I've got the financial aspects all set up. I just silently hope they'll help me move into an old folks' home and visit me on my birthday. I find even that a lot to ask of people who will then be in their prime, probably with small children of their own, and who are absolutely not obligated to do anything for their aunt as they've got parents too. To think that this lady just plans on having her niece take care of her. Laughable. OP, not wrong. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. My mom took my cheating ex-girlfriend's side over mine, and I can never forgive her. Original post. I was raised by single mom. My dad died 2 years after I was born. I focused on my career for the most part of my life and my mom supported me doing that. But when I was 20, I met my ex-girlfriend and we got together. We were colleagues first, but she told me she'd work in a different sector soon, and in her new workplace she met a new guy who she fell in love with while being in a relationship with me. I only found out because she admitted to sleeping with him to me after she went out for girls' night with her friends. I immediately broke up with her and threw her out. A few hours of me trying to process what happened, my mom called me and yelled at me that she hasn't raised me like this. I was confused and asked what she meant, and she said that my ex-girlfriend accused me of cheating on her and that she found proof of that on my phone. I couldn't believe what I just heard. I tried to talk to my mother, telling her that the exact opposite is true and that she has cheated on me, but she didn't believe me. Part of the reason is probably because she and my mom truly liked each other. I never had a problem with that. Up to that point, I liked how they got along with each other. My mother called me a liar, and she said she'd disinherit me from her will, as she's not having a cheater as a son. She said she never want to see me again. Then later my grandparents called me to tell me how disappointed they are of me, and that I deserve every bad thing that is to come. You know what the worst thing was? I found out that my cheating ex-girlfriend continued to meet with my mom after everything she did. All of this was so painful for me. The only person that sided with me was my best friend who was furious with her. I talked to him and he hugged me and I cried in his arms. I know many people would think that's unusual for 2 guys, but his support really helped me getting through this. 1 year later, when I already was over it, my doorbell rang and when I opened I saw my mom teary-eyed, and I began to feel my emotions are coming up, and I slammed the door and started crying, asking her what the heck she wants here. She said she wanted to talk to me and that she was so sorry. After she begged for 15 minutes straight, I gave in and opened the door. She said my ex admitted that she cheated when she was drunk. She apologized profusely and said that she knows that she failed as a mother for not believing her own child. I told her that I accept her apology, but I don't want to see her now and that I probably can never forgive her, even though she begged me to forgive her. Over the last few months, she started calling me daily just to hear my voice, as she said. She said she missed me, then apologized again and asked if I could just come over. Her voice always sounded kinda painful and she always says how much she loves me, and that even she could understand that I hate her, and that she cannot live with this thought in her head. I don't even hate her, I still love her. She is still my mom, but the trust is broken. I can never trust her again, because what if I got into a relationship again? Who says that she wouldn't just believe their word over mine again? I appreciate her efforts, but I just cannot forgive her or even see her now. And I hope she understands that I need time. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Make her tell your grandparents the truth. The fact that she ruined your reputation and your family is disgusting. I know what having a mother like that is like, and believe me, no contact is better than the potential risk of stress and chaos that they can bring to your life again. And they always will. That's the first thing that I would ensure, and secondly, that she can't ever meet or ask about relationships, seeing as how she'd betray me. And thirdly, I'd tell her that I will reach out when I want to, and to stop harassing. Just to piggyback on that, ask your mother to publicly apologize. Put a Facebook post and stand in the town square with a sandwich board. Then never talk to her again. I cannot imagine how incredibly awful this must have been for you. Your mother made this all about her and not about you. She selfishly dumped you and then selfishly calls you repeatedly because it's what she needs. There is nothing my daughter could do to make her turn my back on her. I would either be no contact or very low contact and have her tell the truth to everyone. Make her get heartfelt apologies from the ex, grandparents, and any former friends. You tell her how she can gain your trust back, if ever. Also, tell her what your boundaries are if you keep her in your life. This, especially with the grandparents. Not that it really will matter due to the past, but just to clear his name, freaking disgusting they chose his ex over him. Your mother is the worst. She even told your grandparents your ex's side of the story and continued to keep seeing her. It took her a year and a drunken confession from your ex for her to see you again. Has she even told your grandparents about it yet? Or is she still too prideful for not wanting to make herself look any worse than before? It does sound like her guilt is viciously eating her up inside, so at least there is some karma. Now for the update. After reading too many comments yesterday, I decided to meet with my mom today to clarify everything. I texted her to come over and she didn't hesitate. She literally appeared at my door within 15 minutes. Many of you pointed out good points I should ask her. Even though she called several times, we rarely really talked. So when she came over, I sat her down in the living room. There I asked about my grandparents, her will, and if she is still in contact with my ex. She explained that she had told my grandparents and she expected them to call me, but it seems like they were too stubborn. She also said I'm in her will again. She then started talking crap about my ex. She said that when she found out, she punched her so hard that my ex might have lost a few teeth. I very much doubt the accuracy of this story, but I wanted to share it anyway because for me it was a funny thing to think about. She said she told her to get lost and threw her out of the house. She then again started apologizing profusely and telling me that she knows how bad she messed up and that I probably can never trust her, but she wants to do everything in her power to make this right. She explained that the man before my father had cheated on her, so infidelity was a sensitive topic for her. And then she said that she regrets not believing me, nor even remotely hearing my side of the story. I sat there quiet while she explained all this. I then asked her, how would I know that I could trust her now? What would happen if I got into a similar situation? And if she would just throw me away again? She said I have her word, and I replied that her word is basically meaningless as I don't trust her in the first place. She didn't reply to that answer properly and again begged me to forgive. I told her that I cannot forgive her for now, and maybe I will never be able to forgive her, but I also see her efforts. And if she wants me in her life again, then she has to show me that I can count on her. She started tearing up. I could tell she tried to hold in her tears the entire time. But then she broke down crying, and with a whimpering voice she asked if she at least could give me a hug. I accepted that, and she said she's gonna make this right no matter what it takes, and then she left. Now while I am kinda touched at how she shows how much she regrets doing what she did, I am really concerned about my own reaction. When she broke down and I saw my own mother there on the floor crying, I didn't feel anything. I wasn't sad, I wasn't angry, I wasn't happy, and I certainly didn't show any sort of empathy for her. I just couldn't. During the year of having no contact with her, I refused to go to therapy. Maybe it's not too late to do that now. In the end, I want to thank all of you for your nice comments and support. I tried to read every single one of your comments, and the post kinda exploded way more than I expected. Have a nice day. It's normal to not feel anything after her apologies. You've been betrayed by her. She picked someone else's side over yours, and never even tried to hear your side of the story. I'm sure that if your ex hadn't been drunk and didn't spill the truth, she would still have been on her side. I think, and it's just my opinion, that her betrayal shocked you so much and you were so used by now to live without her, that something broke inside of you, and that's why you felt nothing. But I think that you should probably give a try to therapy because you might have bottled a lot of things and you need to talk about it, evacuate it to maybe start to feel better. You don't have to forgive your mother even though she begs and cries. And with what she did to you and how she picked your ex over you, her own child, I don't think that you could ever trust her. She broke it and she have to live with the consequence of her own choices. Don't feel bad, OP, and I hope everything will goes well for you in the future. My ex-wife, together for nearly 10 years and married for 3, left me for a woman she had an emotional affair with for 9 months. And for a long time I felt nothing. Wasn't hungry, wasn't tired, wasn't angry. I would get sad on occasion, but mostly I felt empty and void of feelings. It's normal what you're feeling, and I believe you may be suffering from depression from your trauma. Therapy can help a lot for that, or just talking about it more to whomever. I can't help but think you're already in the initial phases of healing, because you're aware of your feelings and can recognize you don't feel like you would normally. However, you decide to continue your mental health journey. I wish you the best. If there's anything I've learned in the past couple of years, is that life is short. I completely understand that she messed up and that she doesn't deserve forgiveness. But at the same time, she is your mother. If something happened to her, I can 100% guarantee you'll hate yourself for never making amends. I know she doesn't deserve forgiveness, but it wouldn't kill to simply begin a relationship with her again. Talk from time to time, etc. Over time it could grow back. Heck, maybe even better than before. As for therapy, it's never too late for therapy. My 58-year-old dad has some skeletons in his closet from when he was a child, and he could very well go to therapy now and get rid of some of those. You're right. Life is too short to worry about the toxicity of traitors. OP should most likely cut her off for good. Last story. I just destroyed a marriage. Today, I just destroyed a marriage out of spite. I met Mike while I was on a work trip in his city. I work for a company that does events and marketing in different cities in Europe, and it's part of my job to travel to these cities and be present at events. I met Mike in April. He and I matched on Tinder, had a nice little chat, and agreed to meet up for dinner that same evening. We immediately hit it off. I was in his city for a week, and we met up every night that week. We'd meet up once we're both free in the evenings. We hooked up after our second date, and there was really good chemistry. Since I live in a neighboring country just 5 hours away from his, we kept in touch. Our communication through text was seamless. It's like we never ran out of things to talk about. Every now and then we do video calls. He keeps me constantly updated with his life and would send me photos and videos of what he's doing at work, during his football games, when going out with friends, etc. I even asked my manager if she can assign all events in his city to me, and she approved. Didn't question me as long as I did my job well. So for 6 months, we were able to maintain a long-distance relationship, with me traveling to his city for work once or twice a month. We'd go on dates, and I usually just let him sleep over at my hotel, since his apartment is 30 minutes away from the city center. He visited me a few times in my city on weekends since it was accessible by train. Now let me preface this next part by saying that Mike is not big into social media. We followed each other on Instagram, but there are no posts on his feed. I don't use Facebook a lot, so I don't see the point of adding him there. Mike is a pretty private person. I know a lot about his hobbies, what he does for fun, and some background on his family, but I didn't know a lot about his past relationships. I open up to him about mine, but I never obligated him to tell me his. One time, I got curious and did a little snooping on Facebook. When I searched for his name, I saw a woman with the same last name tagging him in a life event saying they got engaged. I did more snooping this time on Instagram, and that's when I found out. Mike is married. I found the woman's Instagram account, and it was filled with photos of them. He was never tagged in any of the photos, so it didn't show on his profile. The last photo she posted of them was 2 months before I met Mike on Tinder. I confronted him. He denied it at first, until I showed him screenshots of what I discovered, and that's when he told me everything. That he is married but having problems for months now. That he still lives in their apartment, but he sleeps on the couch or at his parents' place. That he's been trying to fix things with her for a few weeks now, while in a relationship with me. I got angry. I told him that he should have ended it with me the minute he decided he was gonna fix their marriage. I called him a coward and a liar. He apologized. I told him that I will tell his wife everything. He begged me not to. He begged me for an hour on the phone, and I just listened to him making pathetic excuses. He said that if I tell his wife, she would get hurt, and then it would not be possible to fix their marriage anymore. I told him that I didn't care and that he doesn't deserve my sympathy. So, I told her via Instagram. I sent her screenshots of him denying that he's married. I sent her screenshots of sweet messages, heart emojis, and dirty photos that he sent me. I sent her screenshots of him saying he loves me and how much he misses me. She saw all the messages, left me on read, and then deactivated her account. He then called me saying that she is crying and angry, and threatening to leave him. I told him he deserved it. I didn't mean to hurt her really, but it was the only way for me to hurt him. I wanted him to be in so much pain, and I felt bad that she had to be hurt in the process. Because I could call him every ugly name in the book, but nothing would hurt him as much as her leaving him. I just destroyed their marriage, and I don't regret it. Edit to add, he didn't want to break it off with me. He said that he wanted to keep in touch. What for, I don't know. I didn't ask. But I told him I was having none of it and that it was pointless. Shaking my head. Edit, since I saw comments saying I should have looked him up more. Here's why I didn't doubt him or bothered digging for more information about him. He was pretty consistent. We text every day and call or video call a few times a week. He always sends me updates on what he's up to during the day. He'd send gifts, flowers, chocolates, the usual. Every once in a while. Whenever I'm in his city for work, he'd always stay the night with me, and each of my trips would normally last for 4 to 5 days. which I think is pretty hard to pull off if you're married, because how will you explain to your wife not going home for a few nights in a row? We also don't just stay in my hotel room, we go out on dates. I don't think married people are okay with being seen out on a date in his city with someone else. So there. They don't have any children. Mike said he didn't want kids. I also don't want kids. I think this is important to talk about even in the early stages of dating in case things get serious. We're all in our early 30s in case y'all are wondering. To those saying that the only reason I was angry was because he was trying to fix things with her, here are my thoughts. When I first found out, I saw a few possibilities. Either he was cheating on his wife from the start, or they did have a problematic marriage and were broken up, but not divorced yet. The wife is not from Europe, so if they get a divorce, she wouldn't be able to keep her residency. So if it honestly was the latter, then yes, maybe things could still work out between us. Because people going through a divorce are allowed to date as long as the other person knows. He said that they did broke things off, but are still living together, which is why he managed to sleep over for consecutive nights whenever I was visiting. And that it was a few weeks ago when he decided he wanted to fix things with her. Of course, I was mad that he strung me along longer instead of just giving me an out. Now for the top comments. You didn't destroy his marriage. Mike did it himself. When I read they met on Tinder, nothing is on her anymore. He destroyed his marriage. Please do not entertain him at all if he comes crawling to you after his wife leaves. If she leaves. I already blocked him and unmatched on Tinder. Just be prepared that their marriage is not destroyed. They'll probably stay together regardless. You just keep to yourself and live your life. That's what happened when I exposed my ex and the married father she was having an affair with to his wife. No regrets about telling her, and I was really disappointed in my ex. As far as I know, the dirtbag and the wife are still together, but at least she knows. Whatever the aftermath, it's none of my business as I know neither of them. I think it's very normal actually for people to not break up, mostly in a marriage and mostly with kids. For the simple reason that it's way more convenient and logical to stay with your partner, mostly if you have kids, and just open the relationship and make it an open marriage. Even Adam Levine's wife was okay with the cheating, but she was annoyed that it went public. I'd say many relationships don't have divorces. If it was me, I'd probably do the same. If I didn't have enough money, I'd stay with my husband. I wouldn't sleep with him, and I'd just go and sleep around, or even find me another serious relationship with a man. If I had enough money to pay for a whole house all by myself, maintain my kids and everything, then I'd probably get divorced.